Microphone check. How you guys doing? It's your boy DJ Mad Scientist, and getting a little better. Getting a little better. Only 11 minutes late. What? Used to be like just when I first started doing this. I used to be like super random, just like because just to remind people, I started doing this primarily for radio. And what I would do is I would record this live and then I would take the audio, submit it to the radio station, and then they're going to play it on Saturday, whatever time they play it. So it didn't really matter what time I started on YouTube. I don't know why I decided to go live on it, but I was just doing it. What ended up happening is people start coming to see my lives or they would come see the videos. And so now it's kind of important that I be on time and that I be a little bit more professional on the YouTube side. Um, and so what you're seeing is a maturation, a maturing process. But more importantly, what you're seeing is a change in mindset. Okay. And my mindset has always been I'm a DJ. Okay. Famously, I told somebody that um, one of the promoters at the club, I said, look, I'm a DJ. I'm just a DJ. And he said to me, like, no, you're more than a DJ. You're going to have to be more than a DJ, especially if you want to be at this nightclub. And so I mentioned that because really that is the theme of moving forward all of these videos because a lot of us, but well, before I get into that, let me go ahead and do the radio introduction. Okay. Hey, what's up? This is Mad Scientist, DJ Mad Scientist on the all new Power 97.5 LA. Today we are just talking music, where we bring you vital information about music production, promotion, and distribution every week right here. Right here where? We on the iGlobal Radio app. Download the app from your favorite app store or go to the website, iglobalradio.com. That's iglobalradio.com. And those of you who have me on YouTube, don't forget I'm on the radio every day. We still have live radio. It's just it's on the app, just like all the rest of your entertainment, your movies, your television shows, your live now your live sports is all on the app. Radio is on the app, so it's no different than anything else. It's not lesser radio. I actually see it as better radio because essentially, and I say this all the time, if start here in Los Angeles at 11 a.m., I could carry you all the way to Las Vegas. It's like 4 hour drive. So you stick with me. Everybody knows that if you have regular radio, once you get to the 15, the people that live out here in California know once you hit the 15, going north to Barstow, you lose all stations. Okay. Not me, because I'm on an app. So I could carry you from LA all the way to Vegas. I can carry you from LA all the way to Fresno, Sacramento. I can take you all the way to Oakland. Well, no, Oakland's like 6 hours. I think Fresno is the 3 hour point. So maybe Sacramento would be 4 hours. Not sure. But yeah, I can take you 4 hours and you won't lose me at all. So if you don't have the app, go to your favorite app store, whether it's Google, Apple, or whether it's Amazon, and download the iGlobal Radio app. Put it on your phone, and I'm on the radio every day, Monday through Friday, as you see on the ticker. See on the ticker down the bottom of the screen. I'm on Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day. The majority of the music that I play is hip hop, like current hip hop, and current R&B. Okay, so all the stuff that you hear on the regular radio stations, that's what I play. Okay, the only difference is that um, you have more me. That's the good thing. You have more me. You know, you have me, more me talking. I don't talk a lot, but I do talk a little bit. I give you the hot takes. I give you my takes on the hot takes. And then every now and then I'll give you my commentary on certain things. But like today, I kind of like let it rock, um, because, and for those who are listening on the radio on Saturday, that would be Friday. I kind of let the music rock because it's just been a wild week. And I just felt like, you know what? Let it go, let the music flow, let everybody kind of decompress and get away from, all the hot takes and everything else going on. Okay. Now, this is about music. So we're not going to get into all of the gossipy stuff. Okay. This is, this segment is about people who are actively looking to pursue a career in music. And one of the benefits of listening to me as opposed to one of the other people that you may see on the how to's is I don't really get into the how to do it. Okay. I would be considered intermediate to advanced. There are certain people that come in as a beginner and they don't even know what the term music marketing means. Like, what does that mean? I'm more for the person who you understand what music marketing means and you understand what you need to do, but what you need is someone in the industry that is working just like you, who is actively doing it, and I'm showing you my results. Now, my results may either be better or lesser, but I'm getting results. And for me personally, I'm looking to scale. What does that word scale mean? Meaning, I know it works, but now you're going to have the capital in order to make it work bigger, to make it work more. Okay. And so I don't have, most of these, a lot of these podcasters that you see, they have a lot of money behind them. And I don't mean like a couple $100. I'm talking about like a lot, millions of dollars, right? In order to get them to where they have all of these followers. I know they like to tell you oh, I started off with one follower and I just moved up. Like, no, they really do spend a lot of money to get them to a point where you never really coast, you're never coasting, right? But you have to get enough followers so that when you start going offline, when you're doing your activities offline, or when you are showing your merch, selling your merchandise, when you are selling your goods and services, which is basic economy, right? When you are doing that, um, a small percentage of your followers are going to buy your goods and services. Okay, and so you're always, I talk about McDonald's. McDonald's never stops doing McDonald's commercials. We all know McDonald's, right? But they're never going to stop doing ads. Okay, because at the end of the day, they need a steady flow of people who are buying their goods and their services or their products, their burgers, the fries. Okay, so you're going to be the same way. You're always going to be trying to get new followers and new people to come in because you need them to buy your goods and services. So that's what I am for. For the person who already has an idea of what they want to do. And you may look at or you may listen to this whole presentation and you may get only one idea, but it may be that one idea you're like, oh, okay, I didn't look at it like that. And you take it. And trust me, I go through the same thing where I'll look at somebody, and for me, I have a music production side. So some of the the presentations that I look at have to be 3 hours. It, rarely can I look at somebody at a 10-minute, YouTube video and get something out of that. Like I avoid those because I know when it's just 10 minutes, usually it's selling you something and telling you like, hey, you know, um, buy this app or buy this plugin. Whereas, or it's a review. But in order for me to advance myself, I've got to look at the 3 hour ones. And because those are the videos where someone is taking you step by step through their process, and you may go through the process and know 90% of what they're doing, and you may get like one or two tips, and you're like, okay, and I just add that on to what I'm doing. And so I try to make it as entertaining as possible. I want you guys to feel entertained. I want you guys to feel like, okay, this is worth my time. But part of me explaining to you why it's worth your time is explaining to you what it is that I actually do. I am not the how to, the step by step. Okay. I am the perspective, the mindset, the thinking. Okay. Now, before we get into the first thing that we're going to do, kind of want to, one of the things that I started doing now is, and it's something that you want to also think about doing, is I go into my letting you guys know that I do have merch. Okay. Um, One of my most popular items, surprisingly, are the hoodies. So you can always go to my website, www.madscientistmusic.com. Go to the shop, and you know what? Pick up the hoodie. It's very, very popular. I'm surprised. I'm not a merch kind of seller kind of guy, but I have it, and people were asking about it. They said they like the logo. They say it's really, really catchy. I have it in men's and women's. I have it in light and dark logo. So if you look on here, you'll say, "Oh, what's the difference between the two hoodies?" One has a white logo, and the other one has a black logo. I have men and women. I would suggest getting, like, if you feel like, oh, I should get a large, get an extra large because they are a little fitting. Okay, these are not the baggy 90s. um, these are not the baggy 90s hoodies. Okay. I also have the beanie. I'm gonna probably um get the hat. I just gotta get my logo together. I also have traditional t-shirts. Okay. Like I said, men and women, usually black logo, white logo. Okay. And I have the t-shirts that I first started off with, just the name brand on there, Mad Scientist. So, and I have a backpack. So, if you are interested, go ahead and check it out. It's at madscientistmusic.com. And I know it's good quality because I actually wear my own merch. Okay. All right. That being said, what are we talking about today? We're in the middle of a series of how to, or we're talking about promoting your music, your events, and your brands. And we're using the tools that are now currently available. Okay. I want to start off by talking about perspective. What do I mean by that? Um, Record labels, and we're not going to get into the whole Drake saga, but re- record labels are essentially an artists that are already signed to record labels have kind of come to a, I don't want to say an end, because there will always be a relationship, but there is a change in the nature of the relationship. What do I mean by that? Meaning that there was a time where record labels could freely and openly exploit artists. Okay. And this goes back to the 1930s, even in the late 1800s, um, where you have blues singers, and they would get recorded, and record labels would sell the music. They would call them race records, and they would sell the music, and the artists wouldn't even think about the records. It would just be like more like, okay, well, you recorded me, that's fine. Now I'm gonna go do what I do, which is I'm gonna go to the local juke joint and play, and the owner of the juke joint will pay me. Okay, that was the main source of income for musicians, was getting paid by juke joint or club owners. Okay, later on in the early 1900s, you started Scott Joplin. He famously wrote his music, like literally wrote it. So, and people would buy, music to play on the piano. Okay, they would actually buy um, the music score so they could play it on the piano. And if you played any instrument, then the sheet music, you would get the sheet music and you would play it. Well, whenever you buy those sheet music, if you're a musician, whenever you bought that sheet music, the songwriters still get paid from that. So even if you're only paying like $10, the songwriters of that song are getting a portion of that $10. Okay. And so people would get their sheet music money. Okay. I told that to somebody, I was talking to somebody about this subject, and I told them, and they thought it was really, really funny. They would be getting their sheet music money. Um, Fast forward, when you start getting into the 1940s and 1950s, that's when with artists such as Duke Ellington and Count Basie and the jazz artists, they started really understanding the business side of the music industry. Okay, they started understanding that, hey, what people are getting money from other ways other than just performing. Yes, you can get money from sheet music. You can get money you know, um, for just writing the arrangement. Quincy Jones talks about how he used to arrange certain songs and get like $20. Now, this is in the 40s. So $20 was a lot of money. But essentially, Quincy Jones was making beats for like $20. Okay. He would arrange a song for you. And, if you're a musician, don't assume that just because someone is a musician, they knew how to write music or arrange music. These are different disciplines. Okay. And so um, people would find various ways of making money. Where it really just blew was in the 50s and 60s, because a lot of the record labels, um, they got away from the blatant racism and realized that there's just money in music, and I'd rather be a capitalist than a racist. And they still had their certain songs they wouldn't send to certain areas, but if you could sing and they could put you on the record, they're going to find a way to sell that record. Okay. And so, you know, but a lot of the artists didn't really understand, how um, these record labels were making the money, and they didn't understand the power that they had as artists. Okay. They still felt like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to have this opportunity. And so it wasn't until, the 60s where artists started to really demand more from the record labels. And but even with that, it wasn't a lot of artists that were making those demands. Okay. You had by the time the 70s, you had Michael Jackson who could make that demand. You had Prince who made his demands. But even with Prince, he didn't like his record deal. Famously, he put on his face slave because he wasn't happy with his record deal because he realized a lot of these record labels were making a tremendous amount of money. It also tracks with the economy. People had more money to spend, more disposable income. Okay. So as more people had more money, they could buy more records, they could buy more technology, in order to play the records. And so there was an explosion of money that came into the music industry, 60s, starting in the 60s, but really, like I would say, at the apex was in the 90s. Okay. Especially because as the technology got better, um, and by the time you had the 90s, you had the CDs, and the CDs were readily available to everyone. Okay. It wasn't just, a couple of guys in the neighborhood who had a tremendous amount of money. Everybody had a CD player in their car. Okay. It was so once you get a CD player in your car, you're going to be buying all these records. Okay. I remember high school getting all those little CDs and they're stacking up, and you're sitting in there driving, and on the seat you have to have this huge album cover, or this album, the CD holder on the side. You just pages and pages of CDs, right? Especially by the time I got to college, I had a little money. You had all these pages and pages of CDs, and so um, there was a lot of money, but many of the artists did not feel or did not understand how the money was being generated and how many ways they could make money. Okay. In comes the 2000s in the current, and I know I'm taking you to history. It's very important to understand the history so that you can get what I'm trying to do is get you out of this mindset that a lot of people still have because they're pining for a time that at the time, no, they think they have this fantasy in their head that during the 90s when the record labels were making money, artists were making money too. They were not. I know the artists told you they were making money. Famously, there are a lot, and I'm not going to name names, but there are a lot of artists, especially in hip hop, that were famous and broke. Okay, they were really, really famous. Everybody knew about them, but they were broke. If they could get on shows, and that was the whole thing. A lot of people want us to go back to physicals, and I talked about this in my distribution. A lot of people want us to go back to physicals. Oh, it was better because people paid $20 for music. Okay, they were not paying $20 for music. They were paying $20 for a plastic CD. Okay, that's what you were paying for. Okay. Um, but a lot of artists, hip hop artists, they couldn't perform. So even though in the late 1800s, early 1900s, artists were not making as much, generating as much income as the 1900 artists, those artists could, those blues artists could tour around everywhere they can go and get a gig. And they would know, they would have the Chitlin circuit. And if you were a good musician, you had good relationships, you could tour yourself in the Chitlin circuit. You can go to different churches as gospel, and you may have, a network of places you can go. Fast forward to 1900, you didn't have that. a lot of people did not want to book hip hop artists. You know, if you're a hip hop artist right now watching this, how many places can you go and say, how many clubs or bars can you go and say, hey, I have 100 of my friends I want to perform. If you're an R&B artist, how many places can you go and say, hey, Mr. Bar owner, I want to bring 100 of my friends and let me just sing to them and they're going to buy alcohol. It's not a lot. Okay. So if you can imagine, if you're not making money on records from records and you're not making money on tour, you're well known, you're famous because you got a video and now technology, you know, is to the point where everybody can see your video on TV. Millions of people can see your video on TV. And so they know you, but you're not getting any money from that video. You're not generating income from that video, just being on the video. Economy is still the same no matter what era you go to. It's goods and services. The first corporation started 1600 was the East Indian Trading Company, right? Unfortunately, my ancestors were part of that trade, but they were getting paid off of the successful transfer of goods. And the people that were providing the service, you know, the ship captain, all of his shipmates and everybody else, they were getting paid based on their services. So the economy is built on goods and services only. If you are limited to the amount of goods or services that you can provide to the marketplace, then you're not going to generate any money. And so I just want to reiterate again, going back to the 1900s, 1990s, and the early 2000s, a lot of artists couldn't get shows. Okay. And so what is happening now, and I'm taking a long time to explain it because it's the most important thing that you have to come to terms with. The industry the relationship between artists and record labels is essentially strained. They're not divorced, but it's in a complicated situation. And the industry is just not interested in having a relationship with artists that cannot generate large sales, whether it be goods or services. Okay. And we're not just talking about music. You can be the best singer, but if you can't sell t-shirts and hats, if you can't sell placement on your social media site, okay, which is a service. So if you have your Instagram and that little square, okay, you can sell that as advertising space. You can't sell that, right? If you can't sell something, then you're not really needed. Now, does it sound like, oh my God, this is a bad situation that we're in? Wow. Oh, mad scientist, you are making it sound so bleak. No, I mean, the purpose of this is so that you guys can understand what it is that we are doing at this moment in time, because I believe actually it's the best time to be an artist. Okay. But you're going to have to like get some education. So before we get into that, let's get into the Friday Night Hype. It's the DJ Mad Scientist Friday Night Hype every Friday night at Agave Ultra Lounge in downtown Long Beach from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. The hottest hip hop, R&B, reggaeton, and party vibes. That's every Friday night at Agave Ultra Lounge in downtown Long Beach. Get in free before 11 on the guest list at www.agaveultralounge.com. That's the DJ Mad Scientist Friday Night Hype every Friday night from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. at Agave Ultra Lounge, located at 200 Pine Avenue in downtown Long Beach. All right, got you. Got to do my sponsors. Like I said, I'm telling you, you got to be able to sell something, or else you're not going to make any money. All right, so we went to some background information, and so what has this got to do with promotion? I want to talk now. I want to segue now into uh, what we're doing with promotion. For the next, it started last week, this week, and then the next 2 weeks after that. I'm going to show you various ways that you can promote yourself, your music, your events, and your brands using these tools that we now have. So last week I talked about radio promotion. And I gave you real information about how to promote on radio. Okay. We talked about online radio, which is like us, Power 975 LA. And we also talked about traditional radio, which out here in Los Angeles would be Power 106. Okay. You can promote yourself on either one of those radio stations. It's just that the terrestrial radio station Power is going to be more expensive, but you can promote yourself, or you can come to a Power 97.5, which will cost money, but it's significantly cheaper. Okay. We reached 2 million people. You have the analytics to show you. So all you got to do is go to the website, power975la.com. That's power975la.com. And you can too promote yourself. Okay. Today we are talking about YouTube, and I'm actually going to show you what I do. So this is not going to be, as I said, let me remind you again, this is not going to be a how to do it. What I'm showing you is what I am doing, what my mindset is, and just understand that I'm at the point, I'm not a beginner. I wouldn't call myself advanced because I'm still learning, but I'm intermediate going into advanced. What's really going to take me to advance is what is called being able to scale. And what is scale? Being able to essentially put money, the necessary money, spend more money. Okay. And if I spend more money, then I will get more people to be following me. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And what I'm actually going to show you is my YouTube studio. Okay. And that's what we're going to be working off of today. All right. So this is my channel dashboard. This gives me all of my information that about my channel. Okay. And YouTube is probably going to be your new storefront if you're doing music. Okay. Let me say that again. If you are creating music where you are singing and rapping, YouTube will now be your storefront. It used to be Spotify would be your main storefront. But what we're finding out as artists is that the return on investment, the ROI, return on investment at Spotify is not sufficient. Secondly, Spotify does not have credible independent promotion mechanisms. There's no way to promote yourself on Spotify. And Spotify has one promotional program. I think it's like $250. You can promote yourself, but it doesn't allow you to promote yourself. It's just kind of like a banner ad, like, hey, you know, but we all know that when people go to Spotify, they usually they go there for their favorite music, their favorite artists. And then, like, for me, I'll either get my favorite artist or I'll get my favorite podcast, turn it on, get it going. It's connected to my Bluetooth, and I'll put it in my pocket. So showing me banner ads on Spotify is really a waste of time. I mean, it's just the reality of how we use that app. I'm not against Spotify because I use Spotify. Okay. I don't use Apple. I use Spotify. I use it all the time. And I pay my $15 a month. Okay. So this is not hating on Spotify. It's just how I use it. I don't sit there and watch it. Okay. So showing me a banner ad is pretty much going to be out of the realm of usability, right? So it doesn't matter how much you paid. And then we also know that when you send your music there and somebody plays it, famously, you need a million, listens just to make $4,000. And even if you're doing music on an independent level, where, like for me, I compose, produce all of my music myself in-house, mix it, master it. So I don't have to pay for a mixing engineer, mastering engineer. I don't have to pay for any of that, right? But there are still costs associated with me being an artist and just waiting for, a million people to listen to my music is just unrealistic to make back $4,000. Whereas YouTube, I have way more opportunities in order to provide them with way more content. And because I can provide them with different kinds of content, I have more opportunities to make money. Sorry about that. So, um, the first thing that we have to understand is that YouTube will be your new storefront. It will be your new record store. Okay. It will be your new like just imagine, like in back in the old days, back in the 2010s, when you want to go buy some, I don't know, deodorant, you would go to a CVS. Out here in California, we have CVS. You'd walk into the CVS store, you go to the deodorant aisle, you pick it up, and you go to the cashier, you buy it, and you go home. Okay. Now we don't have to do that now. You can order things online. YouTube is now the new music store. It's now the new Blockbuster. It's now the new Tower. It's now whatever era you came up in. Out here in Los Angeles, we have VIP Records. It is now YouTube is now the new VIP Records. Okay. And so if I can't stress that enough, I want to stress that to you that this is your new platform or your new portal to do everything when it comes to music. And if you accept that, then you have a lot of possibilities. Okay. Now, today we're only going to be talking about the promotional opportunities that you have. Okay. But you have analytics. They provide you with analytics. Let me show you. They provide you with analytics. So you can essentially know what it is, how many customers you have, and what it is that you want, what they want. Okay. I feel like I need to do a full video on the analytics of, and it probably would take longer than the time that I have. I have about 20 more minutes to go, but I'm going to just do a short abbreviated version of the analytics. So this is the main overview. It tells you over a 28-day period what's happening on your channel. So your views, the number of views, watch time, how many subscribers you've gotten, and how much money you've generated. Okay. How much money are you making? So over the last 28 days, I've made $5.56. Okay. It's also telling me, if you look over here on the to my right, but maybe to your left, it's telling me I got a graph of who's looking at videos. Okay, how many people are looking at videos? So between 6 and 7, I have 8 people watching videos, and it's telling me what they're watching. So this is essentially telling me what my customers, how many subscribers. I have 11,848 subscribers. Okay, and what they're listening to, what they like. Now, I have different kind of content on this channel. But essentially, I'm going to find out what they came here to buy or what they came here to consume. Okay. And then I have a list of all the videos that all my top sellers. Okay. Also in my analytics, it gives me I really like this section here where it says it's telling me what my customers are actually doing. So my new customers are coming for my videos. Okay. They're not coming for the shorts. Well, they come for more shorts. The last thing they come for is the live stream. So I get a lot of new viewers from my videos. My regular viewers, people who are regular, and I'm gonna go back to that guy. I like him. They haven't really subscribed, but they keep coming back. Okay. My live stream is the most, not so much with the videos, right? And not so much with the shorts. Okay. My subscribers, they're watching the videos and the shorts, not so much the live streams. So, what that says to me is I need to make more videos. And based upon what people are watching now, they like my mix videos. They like me as a DJ. That's what they like. Okay. Um, so that's why I like the analytics because it tells me exactly what people are doing here once they get here. Okay. And then they have another analytic where it says, how are they finding you? Okay. And it's telling me YouTube advertising. Okay. 89% of the people who find me are from advertising. Okay. What does that mean? That means that as long as I'm advertising, people will find me. Okay. And so far, I've got 11,000 people who said, you know what? Now that I found Mad Scientist, I like him. Let me subscribe to his channel. And when they subscribe to my channel, they watch the mix videos. They like me as a DJ. Okay. Which is really, really great. Okay. Now I'll explain to you why. Now, you also have, it tells you your audience. So this is like really, really great information. And this is actually marketing. This is marketing research. Technically, it would be called marketing research, okay, or analytics data. Okay. So it tells me, where people are coming from. So they like me in the Philippines. Most of my subscribers are in the Philippines. Okay. And then Japan and United States and Algeria and Senegal. Okay. So I got people in Asia, America, and Africa, okay, who are subscribing to me. And it's also telling me their age. They're 25 to 34 years old. So this is all good information, mostly females, okay, more females than males, okay. And so what I do with this analytical information, which I'm going to have to do a video on this, I can't do it all today. But that then tells me what kind of content to create. So with my content, and let me check my time. Okay. With my content, let me describe to you what kind of content I have. But before I do that, let me go into my last sponsor and let me read it. Okay. We got DJ Mad Scientist, Saturday brunch and day party at the world famous Agave Kitchen and Tequila Bar in downtown Long Beach. That's Saturday from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. Celebrate your birthday party, girls do brunch, family reunion, foodies brunch, or whatever you want to call it. Go to Eventbrite or hit me up on IG at sign the Mad Science, at sign the Mad Science. That's DAMADD Science for more details and reservations. That's the Mad Scientist Saturday brunch and day party. All right. Let me get out of that. Okay. Now, for those who have me on YouTube, you can always go to my profile and all my social medias right there. For those who are listening on the radio, you can find me on YouTube under @ the Mad Science. You can find, I use that handle for everything. Okay. And I'm on all the social media, even including Twitter, now X. All right. So let's go back into the content. So if I know that people are coming here and what they like from me is DJ, it is incumbent on me to provide videos in which I DJ. That's how I will get more subscribers. Now, I also write original music. Okay. So, how do I handle that? Well, I could put the music video there, which I have a music video on my channel. Okay. You know what? Let me change. Um, let me go to my channel. View your channel. Okay, let me go to my actual channel. I think that would be better. Okay, so I have my party mixes that you'll see here. If you have me on YouTube, I have my first channel, my first little section here is party mixes. I know people like my party mixes, so I put that up front. I put that in the front. So imagine if you're in a store and you walk right into the store, the first thing that I'm going to put in the front is my party mixes. Because according to my analytics, that's what people want that's why they're here, for the party mixes. Okay. Now, I also have hot topics. So that's the next little section. Now, according to my analytics, people come, they watch. And then I also have my music marketing, which is what you're watching right now. Less people come. Okay, I can see the views. They come, but less people come. I get it. I'm doing something that is specialized for a certain type of people. It's not for the broader audience. And if you're here to just like party, listen to my mixes, you may not care about the marketing part. You're just an actual, product of my music marketing. And then I have my shorts. My shorts do really well. I would say shorts do really, really well. People like shorts. You come in, you get in, but we're not going to talk about content today. I'm just going to tell you shorts do really well. And then I have my music videos. Okay. I have my own music videos and I have my own music. Not so popular, but hopefully that'll change one day. Okay. Now, let's get into the meat of today's discussion. Let me check my timing. Yeah, cool. Every time I have a video or I upload a video or I complete a live, okay, you have an opportunity to do a couple things. Okay, and we're going to go with my music video right here. I can make it public or private. Obviously, I'm going to make it public. I can monetize it. Okay, so you see right here with my hot takes, I have the monetization on because I have over 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours, right? And because my hot takes, which is why I do the hot takes, because it's what I own, there are no restrictions. Whatever money I make off of it is my money. Whereas with my DJ mixes, I don't own those songs. So I'm not going to make any money. In fact, the monetization is ineligible. So I can't even trick them into like, no. My music video, I do own it. It says sharing because part of the money goes to my YouTube channel. Another part goes to my distribution platform. Okay. So I still get all the money. It's just I get it 50-50. Okay. All right. And then what I'm able to do with each of these videos, once they're in there and they're set up, I can go to this tab here where it says promotion. And that is the gist of this discussion today. You're like, wow, this part could have been like 10 minutes. Yes, it could have been 10 minutes, but you need to have the perspective. Like I said, this is not a how to. I could do the how to in 10 minutes. Okay. But if you don't understand why you're doing it, then you're going to just be like, and most artists are not going to, they don't like promotion. Most artists don't understand promotion. Why are you doing the promotion? It seems like money you're just spending. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to post, and spam, and hopefully people will listen to my music. Okay. That is not real world. Even with the larger record labels, Cardi B is coming out with the project next week. She is doing her promo tour. Okay. She is spending money on promo out here in Los Angeles. She'll be out here in Los Angeles at a record store. Yeah. I'm trying to decide if I want to go or not, but she will physically be at a record store out here in Los Angeles. I think it's in Long Beach. Okay. At a record store. She is doing promotion, and that is costing her more money than I'm spending on this YouTube. Okay. Because she's got to come out here. She's got to get security. She's got staff. She's got to pay. So it is costing her more money to promote the album, but she is still promoting the album. So if you have my YouTube, you'd see that I have many videos. If listening on the radio, just imagine I have a whole list of videos that I have promoted. Okay. I've spent money on promoting. So this portion is where I tell you how much, well, you could actually see for yourself how much you can spend and what kind of results you're going to get. Right now, I promote these marketing videos. I promote my hot take videos. I promote my shorts, and I promote my my mix videos. I actually promote the mix videos. Okay. And as you see here, I don't spend a tremendous amount of money. Like the last video I promoted was one of my one of my marketing videos. I spent $9.91 or $10. I got 8,543 impressions, 73 people. Impressions are people saw it. And see, that's the difference between YouTube and Spotify. Spotify, I mean, a lot of times I have my phone in my pocket. Whereas YouTube, most of the time I'm watching on my TV, or I have to watch it. If it's on the phone, I still got to watch it, but I'm looking. And so impressions is how many people saw that my video exists. And for this last one, 8,000 people saw that it existed. And then of those 8,000, 73 people decided, I want to know about music marketing. And of those 73 people, 17 people said, that's some good content. Let me subscribe to him. Let me learn more. Okay. My hot takes. I spent $10, 38,000 people. That same $10, 38,000 people saw that I have hot takes going on. Of those 38,000, 1,000 people decided to watch it. Of those 1,000 people, 175 people decided, let me go and subscribe to his channel because this guy seems really entertaining. Okay. I'm watching my time because I can't go over an hour. Okay. And then I did the same thing with my shorts. With them, I usually spend $5. And the $5 got me 26,000 impressions, 741 views, and 75 subscribers. And with my music video or with my mixtape, my mixes, I spent $20. I got 93,000 impressions for just $20, 3,558 views, and 291 subscribers. So now you see how I get to 11,000 subscribers. Now, the biggest thing, my biggest expense was with my music video. I spent $499 or $500. I got 1.7 million impressions. So 1.7 million people know I exist. More than that, but for just one video, they know I exist as an artist. 52,000 people viewed it, and 7,000 people said, I like him as an artist. Now, how do we then, and I think this is where most artists, and let me go ahead and get out of the sharing. Now that I have all this information, mad scientist, okay, that's great. What do I take out of it? Number one, promotion is not expensive, not as expensive as I know a lot of artists have heard the famous, it takes 250,000 to promote on a radio station. No, it takes $5 to promote yourself. Spend at least $5. If you got an extra $5, if that's all you have, then that's all you have. It's $5, $10, $20. Now, you saw my music video, I spent $500, but I don't do that all the time. I don't have $500 to spend on every video. Okay. If I did, I would end up with 50,000. I would have way more followers. I'd probably be close to 100,000 followers. Okay. But I don't have $500 to spend on every video, but that's okay. I have $5. So I spend the $5, the $10. Okay. That's the first take, that YouTube allows you to spend I'm pretty sure you can spend $1. Okay. But you can spend, everybody has $5 they can spend. Okay. And if all you get is, and you'll get a lot of impressions, a lot. I mean, listen, if you can fill a club of 100 people, and we're going to talk more about the money aspects of it in future videos, but if you can get 100 people into a club in California, that'll make the club owner about $6,000, depending on what they're selling. But with Mexican food, about $6,000. If you're getting 15% of that, I get you about what, $900 with just 100 people in one location for however many times. And that's not even talking about ticket sales. So if you charge them at the door, 100 people, that's $1,000. You get a percentage of the bar. That's almost $2,000 you can generate with just 100 people. So you don't need millions of subscribers, okay, in order to generate good money. But you're going to have to spend promotional money in order to get subscribers so that you can give them an opportunity to decide, how do I want to consume your content? Now, you may say, well, you don't get any ad revenue from the mixes. No, but I get those are the people who say, I like him as a DJ. Oh, he's going to be at that location. I'm going to go see him and I'll contribute to that $6,000. You have people who like the hot takes. I'll get the ad revenue from them. Okay. So it doesn't matter what kind of content I provide, I can monetize. There are going to be some people who say, because they watch this video here, let me go get that merch that Mad Scientist is providing, because you've watched the video. And one hoodie costs $65. I get majority of that. So that is the importance of promotion. So like I said, this is not a how-to promote thing where I sit there and go through the how-to. What I'm providing you, hopefully what I provided you today, is a perspective on why you should promote. Okay. Next week, we're going to go into TikTok. I will explain TikTok and why I don't use them anymore, but you should use them, but I'll explain to you why I don't. This is your boy, DJ Mad Scientist, and we are just talking music. Thank you so much for coming through. I will see you guys next week, 6 o'clock, or sometime there around 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. On Saturdays, it's 11 a.m. every Saturday on Power 975 LA. Thank you guys so much. And that's the end of the show.